All right, we are back with another episode of Ben. We got to make
Beyond the deal? I don't know. Is that
Beyond
what
the
we called
Deal.
it?
I think that's what we're gonna call it. Beyond the
Okay,
Deal. We just talk real
cool.
estate, we talk business, we talk life, and hopefully people get just a little nugget out of it. How we doing, Ben?
Yeah, we're good. I got my trusty sidekick here wandering around the office, wanting to know when he's going to get out of here because mom is in California and I get to watch him. It's a
Yeah.
dog, not a human.
I was like, you got a human in a cage down
There's
there?
there's there's not a human in a cage. No. How are you?
I'm good. We're
Good.
staying busy. We got a
Yeah.
lot of deals moving through the pipeline. Um, and yeah, it's always nice to kind of step away, just hit record on the camera and chop it up a little bit. So
Yeah. Should we give a little should we give a little shameless plug to Real Estate Bees to talk about all the leads that we've gotten through them and the deals that we're working on?
I think that's pretty fair.
Think it is too. We'll link them too, because good Lord, these guys are pumping us with leads all over the country. And if you know how to close virtually, you can do a lot with these leads. But if you just want them in your local area, they can do that too. So a lot of opportunity with real estate bees, and they're one of our favorite PPL. Well, they're my favorite PPL provider right now. So yeah, I'm sure
Let
we
the
have a
record
link or something.
show, for the record, that's not a paid plug. Like that's
Yeah,
just
no, we're not getting paid from them.
we are busy all day, every day, and we have deals being closed, contracts being locked up every single week. And I mean, I haven't dealt with PPL providers. I think Ben, it's definitely something you have a lot more experience in.
Mm.
What at least you tell me, these guys are pretty good.
They're really good. And when we found out that these guys are providing leads to a lot of the really big lead providers, it was even more of a, hey, let's just go straight to the source. So a lot of these big lead providers that you're paying for leads from, they're getting their leads directly from the work that Real Estate Bees is doing.
What do you think the markup is? How much more are people paying through a middleman
Oh,
compared
it's
to
a
straight to the source?
probably double.
Really?
Uh-huh. Yeah. I know from one lead provider, I was talking to a guy the other day and he's paying 300 bucks a lead. From Real Estate Bees, you can get them for around 150 bucks. And we found out Real Estate Bees provides the leads to this company. So he's paying a huge markup to get the same lead instead of just going directly to the source.
Yeah, which like, I mean, cost aside, it's more so the deals, right? Because if someone's paying, I'm just gonna make up numbers here. They're paying $1,000 for 20 leads. Really, they could be paying $1,000 for 40 leads,
Correct.
which is, I
You're
mean,
doubling your closing volume.
yeah, you're literally closing twice as many contracts just from going
Uh-huh.
right to the source. It's pretty wild.
Yeah,
But obviously, none of that matters if you can't close.
that's true. That's true.
I know there's like new students who come through the program, and that's kind of your big thing is, hey, get comfortable on the phone. Like if you haven't sold real estate before, it's probably best that you have conversations, right? Start with the free leads. Unless you could jump right in and start going with inbound PPL leads, but you might be throwing away some dollars.
For sure. And I think something that a lot of people in this industry push is, have 400 different inbound lead sources as far as, look at foreclosures, look at divorce, look at vacant properties, distressed
Sure.
assets, dangerous buildings, probate, all of these different lead sources. Yeah, that's great. But when you actually think about the time and the money that you're spending to get these leads, it's not something that, just happens. You either have to pay a VA or you have to spend all your time pulling these leads. Instead, why not just have inbound leads that these people are already raising their hand saying, I want to sell my house, and then learn how to exit the properties in multiple different ways, whether that's wholesale, novation, agent referral, partnering with the seller on the deal. Like there's a litany of different ways that we teach people to make money and monetize their leads. And I think that that's something that, you know, is not taught a lot because it's a heck of a lot easier to just focus on one thing and get a bunch of different lead sources. If you're looking at it that way, it's a hell of a lot better of a marketing prop for whatever course you're buying or whoever whatever guru you're talking to. Hey, I'll teach you how to wholesale. Great. So now you got to go find all of these different types of leads, and the only thing you can do is wholesale those deals.
Yeah.
Versus, sure, if you want to learn how to get all these types of leads, that's great, but don't waste them because it doesn't fit into this one small box for just wholesaling or just novation or just subject to.
Yeah. So have the options in your back pocket. And so I guess I could see how that would be confusing as a beginner of do I go after the different lead sources? I think for me, my mind would be like, all right, the more lead sources, the better. From what you're saying, it makes a lot more sense if I focus on like one or two max lead sources and then have the exit strategies in your back pocket. Now, obviously, the tricky part with the exit strategies is that something like a novation or a subject to require a little bit more know-how,
Hmm.
fair to say.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, instead of spending all your time pulling 40 different types of leads, you can spend an afternoon learning how to do innovation
Hmm.
or, spend a week looking at subject to and how to structure those deals. We even made those one pagers that we put out to the community the other day of, this is all the different types of exit strategies and how you can monetize your leads. So, um,
Yeah.
I'd rather personally, I don't know about you, but I think you're on the same page as me. I'd rather have people reaching out to me saying, "Hey, I want to sell my house," versus, outbound going to people in probate or foreclosure or vacant properties and trying to dig up their motivation, seeing if they want to sell the house, going through call after call after call after call, you know, understanding that they may or may not want to sell that house and trying to get it out of them that, hey, I want to actually sell my house. I'd rather just have people reaching out to me saying, hey, I'm ready to go. What can you do?
Yeah, totally. Especially, I mean, in terms of ease of the deal, it's obvious, right? Like I know we had students who, when before we introduced real estate bees to like the program, they would just cold call. And as soon as we introduced real estate bees, it was like, all right, I'm gonna just do this. But the good part is that at least the handful who take this seriously, spent a lot of time cold calling and
Hmm.
did the outbound.
Hmm.
And so when it came time to talk to inbound leads, it was night and day in terms of the rapport. I mean, if you
Yep.
could build rapport from a cold call, then an inbound lead is going to be like going to be a cakewalk,
Hmm.
right? So I would still say every beginner, get your feet dirty, make some cold calls, get told to screw off a handful of times, and like we're saying, then go do the inbound because it's, it's all skill sets at the end of the day, right? The more skill sets that you stack, like exit strategies, like building rapport, like sounding just confident on the phone, that's how you do more deals and ultimately make more money in any business.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, how much is that student making on his real estate bees lead versus what he paid? The one that is supposed to close in a couple weeks. He
10,
paid he paid $28 and he's gonna make 10 grand on that deal.
10, $11,000
Uh-huh.
deal.
Yep. On a wholesale where
So
the homeowner raised his hand and said, "Hey, I want to sell." And mind you, it wasn't an exclusive lead. It got sent to five other companies too, or four other companies. He was just the one that built the most rapport with the homeowner and said, "Listen, I can offer you X." They
yeah.
took the offer, and then we actually worked with the student and found him a buyer within, I think I made two phone calls, found a buyer. Buyer went and walked it 2 days later. They signed the assignment agreement the same day.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Like every other type of sales that I've done, the word rapport made me cringe. But now it's like this is the one industry where I'm like, no, it is exactly that. It's like
That's all it
just
is.
a combination of rapport and transparency.
Hmm.
You combine that, you're able to just be like minimally charismatic and likable over the phone. You will go so far. I mean, even the contract that I signed on Monday, we got under contract for like 20 grand. Um, she told me that she had an offer that was $14,000 higher. And I told her straight up, I was like, listen, I'm not just saying this, like there's a pretty good chance it's not a legitimate offer. Like a lot of most investors run the same calculations. Just long story short, I told her it's not a real offer, and she believed me. Like most of the time, when an investor says something like that to a homeowner, they're going to be like, "Well, you're just saying that." We spent so much time on the front end talking about her life, talking about everything, her situation, her goals, that when it came time for me to deliver her a hard truth, she was like, "Yeah, you're probably right." What did she do? She didn't want to get in bed with that guy. She signed my contract for $14,000 less,
Yep.
which so you can have a hunch that is not a real offer, but to actually put pen to paper for $14,000 less when you're not an investor, I mean, not to pat myself in the back, but I think it's a testament.
I mean, that's 85% less than the other offer on a $20,000 offer versus a $34,000 offer. That's a lot less.
Yeah.
I'll call him back. We just got to lead the call in.
It's like,
Um, yeah. Well, I think something else that so I was meeting with excuse me, I was meeting with our my mentor yesterday and we were talking about how in our market they're hammering the idea to homeowners of listen, we're the honest home buyer. We're the guys that are going to put down hard earnest money that's non-refundable. Our offer is never going to change. And they've built so much rapport with homeowners and done so many deals because they do it that way. We do deals that are all over the country. We can't put down, $5,000 earnest money on every deal because, we don't intimately understand all of these other markets. There's some deals that we get in the middle of freaking nowhere. Like the
Montana.
deal that we're potentially closing, that was the homeowner that's calling, that's supposed to be closing today. That we're potentially closing in the middle of Kansas, like tiny little town, middle of Kansas. That deal, we had to be honest with the homeowner and tell them, listen, we're going to try to sell it. We're not going to put down $5,000 earnest money, but we're going to do our best to try to get this thing sold. And as long as you're transparent with homeowners, like Mike's saying, you can tell them, I'm not going to buy it. I'm just not. I'm going to go help you find somebody who's going to buy it. And they go, well, why can't I just do that on my own? Well, you can. You can fill out forms all day long, but guess what? These forms are going to companies that are all over the country that are not going to close on your house. They're going to go find another buyer that's local. Well, why don't I just go find the local buyers? Okay, where would you start? You're right. I don't know. And then we tell them, listen, we'll go pull all the data for everybody that's, purchased houses cash in the last 2 years in your area. Go look up their LLCs. Go find the registered agent of the LLC. Go then call that registered agent, get the owner of the LLC, see if they're still interested in buying properties, give them the details about the property, see if they want to close on it and negotiate the deal with them. Most homeowners are going to go, well, I don't want to do any of that. And as long as you can tell them, listen, I think that we can get you this number. Um, I think, just going to be honest with you, based on what I can see, it's probably worth this. We're going to go try to see if we can sell it. It's a different conversation than a lot of people are taught in the wholesaling game of just get it under contract and figure it out later.
Yeah.
Say whatever you got to say to get it under contract. I don't like that.
It reminds me just because we say things like transparency and rapport. And so I don't know. I personally would like to give people better examples of just like exactly like you just did. I don't know if you remember, I'm looking for the woman's name. Um, we had a lead that was in like a remote area, but not like one of those crazy remote areas. And essentially, you had to be a local investor. Like no out-of-state investor was going to be able to buy this thing and give a legit offer. And so my conversation with her it started with, listen, this just isn't a fit for us. Like, sorry, like XYZ reason, we're not going to be able to buy this thing. She talks for a little bit. I'm eventually like, listen, realistically, anyone who tries to make you an offer on this who's out of state, they're going to try to wholesale the deal. Do you know what wholesaling is? No. Okay. So this is essentially the high level process. I explained wholesaling to her. And she's like, that makes a lot of sense. Like, I don't know if I really want to do that. And then she continues to tell me, which doesn't happen all the time. It's always nice when they do actually open up, that she had an investor in California. She was in like Idaho or like South Carolina. I don't really remember. It was some middle of nowhere. city. Um, and she got this guy from California make me this offer, and it was like $10,000 above the ARV. And I was like, okay, like, how do you feel about that offer? And she's like, like the fact that he's out of state doesn't really make me feel good. I feel like he's doing exactly what you're saying. I was like, yeah. So that's where I get kind of gave her the pitch of what Ben you came up with a month ago. Of like, hey, listen, I think I can get you this. Anything above, I'm able to get it. We'll split the proceeds 50-50. Let me know what you think. And she was like, that sounds good. I then she had a follow-up call with the investors a couple days later, and I was like, I'm going to send you the top 10 questions that you need to ask this investor to figure out if they're actually going to close on this deal, which was a free resource that Ben made. And so it's like that level of just deep diveness. I feel like most investors, and I haven't been doing it as long as you have, they keep their cards like this. And listen, there's a lot of situations where you do need to keep your cards close to your chest. But I found, especially when it's not a great deal, put the cards on the table, be like, hey, this is what it is. What do you think? And people will feel that over the phone and like, wow, this guy is just giving me the sauce right now. Like, I trust him. And it goes just a very long way.
Yeah. And I don't know why more people in this business don't do that. It's like they're scared to have the hard conversation, or, they don't want to let people down, but or they're just so money motivated that they think that they can say whatever they want, and if they have the contract, they can do whatever they want. Go file an affidavit on the property even though they know they're not going to close, like do all of these just inherently wrong things, um, because they think that's how this business is, they think that's how you're successful in this business. It's not. You're not successful in the business by just blatantly lying to people and, you know, telling them things that they want to hear. The hard conversations are where you get, not only the numbers that make sense, but you get people to trust you, because if they've had 4 or 5 conversations where they're just being told what they want to hear, it starts to get repetitive. You have to be the one that breaks the cycle, that throws in that pattern interrupt of, listen, I know that you're being told this. I'm gonna be honest with you. From what I'm seeing, I just don't think that's real. And you don't have to believe me, but here's the data that supports why I don't think that's real. And when you break it down logically, but also dive into the emotional side of it, like you say to them, listen, I know this is a really important deal for you to get done. I know how important it is for you to close this house. You've got X, Y, and Z going on. I just don't want to see you get locked into something where they come back to you in 3 months and go, you know what? I'm not able to close at this price. We got to drop it 50 grand.
Yeah. And it's interesting because there's I think of like two ends of the spectrum. What you just described is the people who will say whatever it takes to get the deal done. And listen, when you're unethical, that's a line that you don't want to cross. But what I at least will respect somewhat is that at least those people are going for it. The other side of it are people who are just afraid to talk to people,
Yep.
which is relatively normal for a beginner. But everyone needs to understand that business is hard and forget about like back end things that go wrong. It's just hard to like do deals consistently and actually build a business that's making 10, 20K a month profit. Like it's not easy. And if you think you can just kind of float, skate by, cool, like I can pay for leads and that's great, you do have to brute force it. Like at a certain, especially in the beginning, you really have to be balls to the wall, brute forcing it. Otherwise, you're going to be spinning your wheels, being like, okay, this business doesn't work. Meanwhile, you follow it up with a homeowner once, twice. It's like, got to do more than that.
What do you expect? Yeah, it's like it's anything. I mean, I don't think there's one single person who's come into our community where we've told them this is going to be so easy. You're going to make so much money and this is easy. No, we've never said that. It's simple. It's not easy. But is any business easy that's, worthwhile? I know you've tried other businesses and so have I. None of them are easy. I can tell you personally from my experience, not only are they not easy, they're sometimes brutally painful.
Yeah.
We lost a business partner that cost us $250,000. We had a trusted advisor steal one of our businesses from us, cost us $500,000. We had a lawsuit from something that we were right on, and we're still going through it, but we're right. We are 100% right. The attorneys know that we're right, but you can sue anybody for anything in our state. So we constantly have to continue to fight this to the tune of 15 grand a month. It's freaking hard. But what's the alternative? We go back and work for corporate. We go back and work for somebody else. We go back into the same patterns that we had before. I'm not doing that. I can assure you I'm not doing that. We've probably lost in the last 3 years over a mil. Oh, I know we've lost over $1 million in just random shit that happens in business. But what do you keep doing? Foot in front of the other. Next deal, the next deal, the next deal. Try to figure it out. Because
Yeah.
I'd rather figure it out for myself than go make somebody else wealthy.
And that's, for people who don't come from a sales world, we call that the cost of inaction, right? And it's like, if you are someone who's been on sales calls before, it can sound repetitive when people try to put you in a future pace and in an inaction. But people who are actually good at sales understand that you need to bring yourself through that train of thought. Like, I remember I hopped in a sales call last year for some coaching program, and the sales guy was honestly like pretty stinky. Like, he didn't really know how to run a sales call. Yeah, he was a good dude. And like, I appreciate he wasn't like a pushy, high pressure sales call, but I literally future paced myself because that's how the decision needs to be made. It's like, all right, think about this logically. This is where I am. This is where I want to go. How will life be different when I get there? What's required to get there? What is the time, sacrifice, energy that goes into it? And how do I know if it's worth it? Well, what's the other side? What's the inaction? So it's like the dream state, or I don't do anything. I keep doing what I'm doing. Where does that lead me? And I mean, exactly like you said, like if you find yourself not motivated, like you don't want to be showing up, you don't want to be making cold calls, which again, every beginner, in my opinion, should be doing, just ask yourself the alternative. Like, if you do nothing, where will you be in 1, 2, 3 years? Do you want to be there? No. Why not? Why don't you want to be there? Because life will suck if I'm still in the same place. I'll feel like a piece of crap. Okay. So what's worse, that feeling or the feeling of cold calling, doing a lot of outreach, following up with homeowners, sending text messages, like pick your poison.
Yeah. And it's actually fun, isn't it? I mean, talking to people that first deal that you get. I I mean, I still remember mine. Still remember that feeling of that first contract that you sign, the first time you go to closing, the first time you sign those docs, and then the first time you see that money in your bank account. Everything else is worth it. And then the next thing that you want to do is get back on the phone and talk to the next person, get the next deal, do the next thing.
Yeah, and you're right. There's nothing more. I personally don't think there's a better feeling than eating the crap and then coming out on top. Like you're not rich after you do your first deal,
Yeah.
but the powerful is just the belief part of it. Of
Yeah.
like, wow, this was hard. I did it anyway. I got the reward. Now you're kind of rewiring the brain. It goes from the belief goes from I don't know if this will work. This is super hard. I don't know if I have what it takes to cool. Now I have a little bit of proof. And I feel like you can chunk that down as granular as you want. It's just making cold calls, telling yourself you're
Yeah.
going to dial 30 people a day, doing it, maybe getting told to screw off a handful of times and being like, wait, I got air in my lungs. I'm still alive. I'm still breathing. Like that wasn't actually that bad, and then
Weird.
yeah,
It's
and then
not.
it compounds. You do that for 2 weeks. Wait, now I actually sent out 3 contracts. Do it after a month, 2 months. Wait, I actually got a deal. Like, and everything just starts to change. And then the next time you go to approach, it could be any aspect of your life, like going to the gym or picking up a new hobby. You start building that internal confidence, that internal belief of like, I am the type of person who can do hard stuff, which I think
Mhm.
90% of people in the world probably don't necessarily have that belief of I can pick up a new business, a new hobby, a new whatever, and actually achieve it. That makes sense.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's a big part of what we try to make a part of our community is, you know, making that as easy as possible for you.
Hmm.
So you don't feel like you have to do all of this on your own. Because I remember, You and I both were in the position where we started our own businesses. There's no one holding your hand going, this is what you need to do next. You got to figure it out. And it's hard and it sucks. And you just feel like you're getting your teeth kicked in every single day. But it's that little voice in the back of your head that says, just find the micro wins. Little micro wins stack on top of each other until you finally get to the big win. You're like, all right, I can do that again. I can do that again. Do that again. And that's what we preach inside of our community. You show up to the calls, you get to see real world examples. You get to watch us talk to homeowners live. You get to see how we approach situations. You go through the repetitions of making the calls and, sending the text messages, doing whatever it takes to get those deals. You're going to build that confidence of this isn't that hard.
Yeah. And that's, you bring up a good point too, right? And that's why having a coach and a mentor is so important. Another shameless plug. Yes, you can find the coaching link to our program in the bio of this video. But there's on one side you got logistics, and the other side you got the mindset part of it. And for someone who's just starting out, especially after like I know you DM people a lot on Instagram who are asking questions,
Mhm.
the logistics, it's multi-layered for especially for beginners in the DMs. It's like it's both. It's the mindset and the logistics. I would argue the mindset is harder for people because
It is.
realistically, you can find the logistics online if you
Mhm.
actually, again, brute force it. Like if you brute force it, you're following up people like Ben, the 10,000 other people who talk about real estate, you can figure out the logistics of it. But when you just hire a coach, you're paying for speed at the end of the day. Anyone can start a wholesaling business and get it to 10K a month. It might take you a decade, it might take you 20 years, but anyone could do it hypothetically, right? When you pay for the logistics to be lined up for you and you have it outlined, week one, this is the focus, week two, this is the focus, then all your attention, not all of it, but a lot of your attention can just go towards the mindset of like getting yourself to show up and doing the thing. And then from
Mhm.
there, it's just a time game, right? If
Yeah.
it takes 1,000 cold calls to get a deal, boom, how fast can I make those 1,000 cold calls? And that's a much better place to be than trying to figure out, all right, where do I find people to cold call? What is the script that I'm saying? Where do I get contract? It's like pay someone to show you that and then just do the work and the results will come.
Yeah. Your first deal, you make your money back, and then the next deal, pure profit most of the time.
Yeah.
And I I can't imagine most people get into this business to just do one deal. Seems like a lot of effort for nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude. I mean, I think that's high level what we do every day. And real estate fees has been a big part of it. And getting that mindset down. I mean, even for you, you came from a completely different background jumping into the real estate world, and not, knowing all the ins and outs and learning that. It's it's something that if you probably tried to do it on your own, it would have taken you a hell of a lot longer.
Yeah.
Um, but now it's been what, 8, 9 months,
Just about.
and I could probably step out of everything and you'd be able to do deals on your own.
Yeah.
100%.
And I'll gas myself up for a moment here. I think I know the reason that I was able to pick it up so quickly was because of all the other stuff that failed.
Hmm.
And so I don't think people really take into consideration, even if you start this business, you do it for a year and you only do a deal or two, you make only 5K, 10K, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. And you're like, I actually hate this business. You can't write it off as a loss. Like the experience is stacked, and that probably sounds a little cliche of like, it's not a loss, it's a lesson, but like it's true. Like I think I was able to become upper echelon in just a matter of like 2 or 3 months because of all the other stuff that I had done that maybe didn't necessarily work out the way that I had hoped when I started it,
Hmm.
but I did it and it just became that much easier.
Yeah.
So that needs to be the mindset again of like skill stacking and just experience stacking. It's like you do that over the course of years and you will be the type of person who's capable of making the money that you want as long as you're consistent.
for sure. But people are too scared to make that first step. I put a different screensaver on my phone, um, talking about some things, and it basically says, I'm not going to read exactly what it says, but there's a lot of times in, business where it's gotten hard, or life where it's gotten hard, just got married, things, it's none of this is easy. But if you can tap into the trust that things are going to be just fine versus the fear, number one, fear is exhausting coming from somebody who's lived in fear a lot, quitting medical school, not having any idea what the hell I was going to do, going into sales and then jumping into real estate, having no experience in real estate, not knowing how I'm going to be able to buy Chipotle the next day. It's there's a lot of fear that goes into building a business and trying something new. And I've been there, and I'm sure you have too. None of this is a given, but if you just have that trust in yourself and in the idea of what you're doing is going to work, it's pretty freaking hard for it not to work if you just consistently put in the effort and do the steps that get you to the result that are laid out. This business is not a secret. Nothing about this business is a secret. It's all laid out. You can find all the steps online. If you do them consistently, it's very hard to fail.
Yeah. And we won't go down the rabbit hole because I think we'll probably wrap it up
Yeah,
here
we
in a
could.
minute. But like, I'll say from personal experience, what also helps in having that like long-term faith is having faith in something bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
I know you're a spiritual guy. I'm obviously a Christian, and like, I think that when you have faith in something bigger than yourself and that there is someone watching over you, makes it a little bit easier to step into that darkness of the unknown. Um, and so yeah, it's like at a certain point, you gotta draw a line in the sand and be like, enough is enough. Like, I'm gonna go
I'm
for it.
tired of being afraid. I'm tired of being afraid.
Yeah,
Because
because
like we've talked about before on other versions of this, we're all gonna die. 1,000 years from now, no one's gonna remember any of our names. There was actually, we'll end it on this, Mike. I wrote this down yesterday. This was pretty cool. So I was watching this video, and this guy pops on the video and he's like, I'm gonna ask you the greatest question you could ever ask yourself. He goes through this thing. He like builds it up, builds it up. It was like 2 minutes of build up where he's like, just get in the mental framework to know that this is going to be the most important question that you ever ask yourself. So he said, I'm going to lay out the scene for you. Imagine your life is a movie and there's an entire theater full of people watching you. Not even an entire theater, an entire stadium. You're on the big screen at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, and everybody right now is watching you in this moment, and they have been watching you. What, at this point in your life, where you're at right now, are people screaming at the movie screen for you to do with your life right now?
jeez, that is a good way to end it.
I like that.
Everyone knows the answer. If you're listening to this, you actually answer that question. You know what the theater, what the stadium is yelling at you to do. Just do it, man. Just do it.
I agree. Bill Knight.
We'll put a pin in it there. I've got a
Yep.
Dodgers game to go to. No, I'm not a Dodgers fan, for the record. Cool. Until next time.
If anybody answers that question, write your answers in the comments below. I'm curious.
Yes. Yes. Comment below. What is the stadium shouting at you to do?
What are they screaming at you? I'd love to hear it. All right, guys. Till next time.
Till next time. Peace.